It's time for the drive with Q on Sports Radio 102.9 FM The Game. Now, here's Q.
Good afternoon, everyone. A couple minutes as we approach the 5 o'clock hour on a Thursday edition of The Drive with Q. As always, I'm your host, Rich Quinones. We are coming at you live inside the friendly confines of the Sports Radio 102.9 FM The Game studio, Southwest Florida's newest game in town, part of the Coastal Sports Network. As always, me and Hermano Angel Martinez behind the glass producing a show, keeping us on the air. 60-plus minutes to play with on this 19th of December, 2024. No show on a friggin' A Football Friday tomorrow, but we'll do a pre-record of BYP and a pre-recorded, actually, of The Drive. We won't be live, and we'll talk a little more about that later on in the show. As always, 727-858-6650. A lot of NFL to get into on this Thursday edition of The Drive. I don't even want to start with the comments. We'll mix in a little college football. And right around 5:20-ish, there's a really cool sports betting app that's out right now. It's a new interactive NFL gaming app called Blue 42. Aaron Rupp created this, very innovative, and it's pretty unique. And I think you guys will enjoy it. We'll speak to him for a couple moments. You guys can check it out as well, blue42gaming.com. So we'll have a little fun with him, get his thoughts on the backstory on this and how some gamblers, fantasy, sports fans alike are enjoying this. As far as the NFL, and I don't know if you guys follow. Look, we know you guys are displaced fans all over the place, right? But there's a story that has came out, reports out in New York regarding Woody Johnson. And I do not know if you guys have read these reports from stories from The Athletic. But when you think your franchise is bad, or you think your franchise has piss poor ownership or a GM or a head coach, I give you the New York Jets. And here's the story. Here are the reports. Here are the rumblings. The Jets were interested in acquiring Jerry Jeudy, who spent first couple years of his NFL career, the wide receiver, talented, little inconsistent with Denver, and now having a really good year with the Cleveland Browns. So there was a report that Woody Johnson's sons and the Madden game, which, as you guys have played it throughout the course of your childhood and adult life, adolescent life, they have the ratings. And we know the players take these ratings so serious. But there's a story and report coming out of The Athletic that Woody Johnson's sons and the Madden video basically have influenced his decision-making. Critical Jets decisions like, hey, Jerry Jeudy has a low football rating in Madden, so we're not going to make the trade. That's number one. Then another story is out, and the Jets admitted this. The Jets admitted this, that when they were turning to veteran, or I should say journeyman quarterback Mike White, who had a really bad game, after the game he threw his helmet in the locker room, and Woody Johnson basically said, you should throw, you effing suck. I mean, can you imagine Jeffrey Lurie doing that? John Mara wants to throw stuff in the press box. I can't imagine Mara doing that. I can't imagine Robert Kraft doing that. Jerry Jones, maybe borderline. But you want to talk about delusional. You want to talk about in denial. You want to talk about just dysfunction. I give you your New York Jets. I mean, Woody Johnson purchased his team back in 2000 for $635 million. And that was the highest price for a New York professional sports team at the time. Then there are reports that a source said that Joe Douglas once said, you know what? I have to get approval from an 18-year-old, to paraphrase. Oh, what are we doing? How bad is that? How bad is that? How poorly structured and run and lack of organization is this franchise? So when we sit there and we rip all these other NFL franchises and we mock our own fan base and we mock the leadership and the GM and the head coaches, you got to be kidding me. I've never heard ever. I mean, you want to talk about being clueless. That is beyond being clueless. That is tone deaf. I mean, how in the world you're going to let your kids or your grandkids decide what type of moves you're going to friggin' make as an owner of an NFL team? I mean, sell the team. Sell the team, start over, start fresh. Then you got the drama with Aaron Rodgers. And look, I know everyone's been playing the clips all week. I'm sure Pete played them. I know Angel played them. This whole Aaron Rodgers, Ryan Clark, it almost seems that Aaron Rodgers is kind of living in Ryan Clark's head. I mean, honestly, like, you're still firing back. Aaron Rodgers is who he is. We know he is a fraud. We know that. We know Aaron Rodgers is fraud. And Ryan Clark has said some stuff that, to be honest, has been asinine over the years. You know, I'll never forget when Daniel Jones got concussed. It was basically, well, he deserved it the way he slid. It's like, you don't say that kind of stuff. That's tone deaf. We know Aaron Rodgers is tone deaf. We get it. And we know there is a substantial amount of hypocrisy. And we also know that Aaron Rodgers is considered one of the best throwers of the football at all time, one of the greatest football players of all time. He's a 4-time league MVP. He's a 10-time Pro Bowler. He's a 4-time All-Pro. He's going to roller skate into the Hall of Fame. He's won one Super Bowl, mind you. One. But I just find it funny that you get this athlete-on-athlete type of crime. And they're both basically sharing the same platform, ESPN. Look, we know Aaron Rodgers is a fraud. And we know, or at least we believe, we think that Aaron Rodgers is going to be done with the New York Jets. Where he goes next year, who knows? He's going to take a circus somewhere else. But it just shows again the nonsense that the Jets are going through. And then you look at these other franchises, Kansas City, the model of consistency. Look at the Philadelphia Eagles. Seriously. I mean, the funny thing about the Philadelphia Eagles, now, again, I don't know if this was brought up earlier in the week. So now you've got a situation with the Eagles. I mean, has there been a team in recent memory that has ripped off 9-10 wins in a row? They look like a very good team coming out of the NFC right now. It almost it appears as that all is forgotten with Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, and they're 12-2. And they're putting up points, and they're winning at home. They're winning on the road. They had a couple big wins. They got a big test against Washington on the road. Might be a tricky spot. 1 o'clock Fox window on Sunday. But I feel like every other day there's a story. I feel like every other day there's a story with the Philadelphia Eagles. And now it's the poo-poo report from Jay Glazer regarding who went and who visited Jalen Hurts' house. I mean, did you guys hear this one? I mean, you talk about all this drama and what Brandon Graham said a couple weeks ago. And Glazer basically was reporting that you had all this drama outside the building, inside the building. Here we go. You had a team meeting, and Jalen and AJ got up and were like, quote, "We're good. Everyone knows that. We're fine." And then what nobody knew, according to Glazer, and this is why I do have a problem with some of these, quote, de facto NFL insiders, because sometimes I think they make shit up, to be quite honest. I really do. Is that Brandon Graham and Angel's favorite character, Big Dom, they actually went to Jalen Hurts' house and they said, you got to kind of connect with everyone here. You got to connect. You got to be on the same page with your teammates. You have to make it work. Go meet with Sirianni. He met with Sirianni a couple times. Connect with him. Go out of your way with Graham. Go out of your way with everyone. And you know what Brandon Graham basically came out and said? It's BS. It's BS. That's a bunch of garbage. That's a bunch of crap. That never happened. And let's, again, got to be honest. Got to call it for what it is. A lot of these these insiders, they do. I believe a lot of stuff is made up. I do. I love when I go on social media, which you really can't take for serious. And you sit there and someone's like, oh man, I was at a housewarming party the other night and I spoke to a friend of a friend who knows John Mara. you're full of shit because that person's not telling you anything. Oh, you're not going to believe this. I was at my kid's birthday party, and the guy that delivers the mail, he's tight with Howie, and he told me that Nick Sirianni's dead man walk. No, he didn't. He didn't. Like, everyone's an insider. And listen, who am I going to listen to here? Glazer or Graham? I'm going to go by the player, even though he stuck his foot in his mouth. I can't recall a team that has had such a great run. Every other week, it seems like these narratives, these distractions, these stories are coming out. It's like, hey, let's try to derail what the Philadelphia Eagles are doing. Hey, man, either way, I'm going to sleep well at night. Whether they win, they run the table, they get to the playoffs, they win the Super Bowl. They've done it before. I already tasted that humility. It doesn't bother me at this point. It'll make me sick to my stomach. And that game against Washington's not a gimme. So you've got, in one hand, you've got a Jet franchise that cannot get out of their own way. 4-10. Bad football team, Woody Johnson, Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson once get traded. You get rid of the GM, you get rid of the head coach. The interim head coach looks absolutely overwhelmed. You got overrated defense, and they stink. And everything's leaking out. Then, conversely, you have a franchise that Jeffrey Lurie has done a really good job of running the Eagles, to quote, right way. Because they have been successful. They're 12-2. They won 10 straight, and yet we're still hearing stuff leak out. I mean, I just, this is why when you root for teams or you follow teams or you turn around and you're saying to yourself, hey, this is a team that I'm going to back. This is the horse that I'm going to back. Be careful. Because we know these franchises go up and down, but it's just inexplicable of an NFL owner where these teams are worth billions of dollars to sit there and mock a backup who has a bad game on a Sunday afternoon and tells them you should toss your helmet because you effing suck. I mean, if that's the case and you're leaking that out, that is absolutely a horrible look by the New York Jets, who have a boatload of issues, by the way. 727-858-6650. So we'll run through the gamut. Thursday Night Football tonight. We'll give you the best play with the lines. You got Week 16. You got college football coming up as well. The playoffs. We'll get into that. We'll mix in a little college hoops. And I definitely want to get into a little hot stove baseball. 727-858-6650. We'll open up the comments on the other side. And as I mentioned, we're going to switch gears a little bit, but we will keep with the football talk, but we'll take it from something that's kind of near and dear to me. We'll talk a little gambling with a very unique app that's out. So we'll talk a little more about that on the other side. Keep it locked in, just cranking it up on a Thursday edition of The Drive with Q. Rich Quinones here. Angel Martinez behind the glass coming at you. SR 1029 FM, The Game, Southwest Florida's newest game in town. You can download the app. You can link up on the website. Click on the homepage, SR102, or as you guys typically do, connect with us on the YouTube channel, Rich Q on Q, SR102 FM as well. That's Angel's YouTube channel, X, Rumble, Twitch, Kicks, wherever we're at, that's where you guys should be as well. Quick timeout. We'll come back on the other side.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Download the Sports Radio 102.9 FM The Game app and tell your friends that Florida has a new leader in digital sports radio.
Always get a little juiced when we hear Bumper Guy coming back from break. About 15 past the 5 o'clock hour on a Thursday edition of The Drive with Q. Rich Quinones here. Angel Martinez behind the glass, 727-858-6650. You guys always listen throughout the week. You guys do a great job on my gambling pod. Back your play, especially when Professor Shine or Lloyd or Steve Gardner or Costco or Jonathan Marshall join us. We rip through the betting lines. Got a good guest who's kind enough to join us for a couple moments. Aaron Rupp, his company just launched a new interactive NFL gaming app called Blue 42. I love the name of it as well. And it's beyond interactive. It allows you to basically select what you think the next play call is going to be in games. You got trends. You can compete with your friends, your workers. It's great for bar talk, but he's kind enough to join us for a couple moments. Aaron, first of all, appreciate you jumping on for a couple moments. How did this idea concept come into play?
That's kind of a crazy story. So it was actually a business concept in the beginning. And I was looking at a way to structure a business and that would kind of remove the C-level suite. And anyway, that went a weird direction. And while I was going through it, I'm like, where would this apply really well? And all of a sudden football came in and man, ever since it just was like the perfect fit. So it kind of happened accidentally.
I feel with the influx of gambling and sports betting, and you get down in there with the fantasy football. I mean, an app like this where you can basically, we have the in-game live betting, right? First half, second half, the money line, the parlays, whatever, the player props. But something like this, I mean, I feel as though if you had lack of attention span, your attention span is actually going to be pretty good with this, because if I'm thinking to myself, hey, are the Giants going to run on the next play? Are they going to pass? Or the Eagles going to have a bootleg with Jalen Hurts or run the tush push? I mean, something like this for a guy like me, I would just be obsessed with.
Yeah. And it's what we found, right? So a lot of people, if anybody has, like right off the bat, they'll be like, I'd just rather place my wager and just watch the game, right? But it's everybody who has not participated in the game that still carries that opinion.
Yep.
As soon if you play a full quarter, you're in. It's like, and the crazy thing is how skill-based it is. I mean, we just had attorneys go through our app and they're like, you guys are like significantly more skill-based than fantasy sports. And so it's really like everybody that now plays it and they come to us, they're like, man, I do DraftKings, FanDuel, and Prize Picks every game, and they're like, I would do this 1,000 times more, and it's turning out to be that people become obsessed with it.
I know with data the way it is now, we always talk about the metadata per se. Like for someone like me, whether it's calling basketball games or calling professional boxing or MMA, like we collect the data, right? All right, the guy's 15-1, he's got 12 knockouts. How many rounds? What's the knockout ratio? X, Y, and Z. And then you kind of make a guess he's going to be favored or not if you throw in the gambling element. But it seems that you guys, what you do at Blue 42, you basically have to collect that type of data, right? And maybe kind of put it together or throw it in the pot and stew it up a little bit and look, okay, this is what this team's done last year. This is typically what they do on third and short. This is what they do on third and long. This is where they're going to run. This is where they're going to call blitz. It seems as though you have to acquire a lot of data to make this work.
Yeah. And the cool part is not only do we collect that data, but we actually have created new data points that don't exist. So like the routes that are run by receivers, nobody has that. Wow. And now we have that for every play. And even a cooler stat on top of that is now we can actually say what the collective opinion is of America compared to what the coach actually executed. So now a commentator could actually be like, well, the coach did this, but the couches felt like this should have happened. What do you think, Bob?
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
by the way, I say couches. That's what we call our participants. They're
Hey,
couches.
listen, we're going to get to that if we're not already there, right? There's going to be like, hey, what is America? They always see the NFL for years. This. It was the elephant in the room, the dirty little secret. We're not going to get in bed with gambling. Well, come on. I mean, I go back. I grew up on the days of when you had the NFL. Today, Jimmy the Greek would never say Giants by 7. The Giants are a touchdown better. That was for the sharps and the gambling public and, Joe and Legs down the street to realize, hey, this is where we're going to kind of create the line and this is what we're going to do. What you're implemented or what you've implemented, which I think is really unique, is that, all right, Dan Campbell, we know he's an aggressive guy. I mean, hell, do we think he's going to go for it on 4th and 8 from his own 25? Or do we think he's going to try an onside kick with 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, only down by 10? Like, typically you say, hey, he's going to do this 95% of the time, but now all of a sudden you're like, I think he's going to do this. And that's why I think it's very appealing to the football fan and or the novice gambler, the bettor, or the fantasy football player.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you should hear the chatter or see the chatter that happens on there, right? We have a section on our app called Smack, and it is all what you just explained.
So it's real time back and forth. Me and my buddies going back. Why did he go for this? What is he thinking about?
Yeah. And it's crazy how upbeat and cool that is. I mean, we were worried at how negative the Smack talk would get, but it's actually kind of like this uplifting, people giving crap for bad calls, but it's all like in good fun, right? It's
well, we can all wallow in our own misery, right? If we get screwed on something. How is this now? How has this been received? I mean, obviously it's launched correct, blue42gaming.com. You're interacting with the NFL like never before. Does the league need to sign off on this at all?
Well, we contract with the league.
Okay.
Yeah. So we pay heavily to be a part of the league, and we get data from the league directly, and then, like I mentioned, we add data to that. So yeah, absolutely, we're a part of the NFL in this. But I got to correct you on the launch. So
Go ahead.
We actually had a big hiccup today. It was actually going to be the perfect time for your show, because we were launching today, and we actually had a bank that we were tied to, and the bank said we have to pull from everything that's even considered skill-based to daily fantasy sports.
Really?
So, yeah, and that's all fine. We have to. Are we still on? I just
we're still here. Go ahead. Yeah, we're still
okay.
here. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we're now already working with like 3 different banks. All that's going to be resolved, but now we're going to be a week later. But I was like, this is the perfect time to do this show because we're launching today. But if people wanted to participate, they can still go to blue42gaming.com, which you're actually there. If you actually go to the top of our page and hit the menu.
Look at that. Angel's doing, I feel like we're on a Zoom meeting call right now. We're sharing the screen. Angel's going to walk us through it.
But over to the right, if you see how it says download app, go left. If everybody goes to our site, again, blue42gaming.com, goes to download the app, this will tell you, and actually I love that. That's wrong info. That'll have tonight's game here in a little bit.
We're catching you at a bad time.
But if you scroll down, it'll give you instructions. So those are the last payouts that we did, and go down to step 1. So now there's some instructional videos, so you can really come in with some knowledge on how to play. Step 2, you'll go to that test flight. That's controlled by Apple. It's totally legit. People can go to test flight, download the app, and then they can participate. And if we get a certain number of users, I'm not going to state that here, but if we hit a certain number of users, we'll be giving away $1,000 tonight to people that are participating in it. And you can win, I should say up to, that's the technical jargon. You can win up to 1,000. And so if people want to join, they can even join a Discord server if they have questions during gameplay. We're here to support it constantly, to teach people how to do it and how to get the flow.
I was going to say, with all this metadata, there most likely, is there an AI component?
There is. So we had an app that was ready to launch at the beginning of the season, and it had a lot of that built in, but it was really Frankenstein. The app was, it was ugly, to say the least. Anyway, so our biggest objective this year was to make it sexy, and it's cool. I mean, if you get this app in your hands, it's hard to put down. And what you'll notice on it too is there'll be, we call them the dots, but it's the players that are on the field. You'll see offense and defense. Those are live. We're reading the chips on the players. There's chips in their shoulder pads and in the ball, and you have live movement. You can read that live, and it will be ahead of your television. So it's like predicting the future. You're down there and you're like, oh my gosh, this is what's going to happen. Yeah, you can see that there now. And those are all moving live. And you select what you believe that's going to do. You can read the lineup. And the more that people know about football, about their team, about how to read that line and who's in it,
Yep.
it significantly gives an advantage to them, right? So skill, knowledge plays into this heavily. And you'll watch that again and again. The people that know, they always do extremely well. And then the people that come in that are new and even new to football, they learn it.
Right.
I mean, one of the things too that we've now done, we're releasing a sister app that will be able to go to younger people that aren't doing anything with money, and high school football coaches can now say, hey, your homework tonight is to go and couch this game, this NFL game, read the line, and it's amazing how much you can learn off reading that line. And then the high school sponsor is going to buy the 3 top winners dinner for 2, right? Whatever that is. And so now the high school team is competing, and whoever ranks wins. But the whole point is the whole team is now like participating and reading a line, seeing what the common calls are, and all of that. So yeah, that's the cool thing too with it being skill-based. And an indicator of that is the people that didn't know or don't know football, they learn it quick.
Yeah.
And they start competing with the big players as well.
Now, I would imagine. So I know we only got you for a couple more minutes. I'm wondering, has there been any type of pushback to this? And the reason I bring it up, you mentioned like with the high school element, right? First thing I'm thinking is anything with the betting app, right, is RG, responsible gaming. Because let's be honest, even fantasy football, that is gambling. That is gaming. And everyone always wants to get their claws in it, and they want to see if someone's not following proper protocol, if the protocols are in place. Have you gotten any type of pushback regarding this concept?
No. The only pushback, and I wouldn't even call it that, is just the legality of it, right? Yeah. So even Apple was saying, hey, as you release this on Apple's platform, it can't be a free app for kids. And then you can choose, like, I don't know if you've ever used like Thinkorswim, like day trading platforms, but you can play with paper money, right?
Sure.
And see how you would do if you were using real money. And we kind of wanted to have that element. And it's like, if kids are going to do this, it's going to be a different app.
Yeah.
And so we need to make that and have that be innocent, and then have everybody else participate in this one. But there'll still be free leagues in this too. So if you're still of age, you can still come in, you can participate for fun and be like, how would I do?
Yeah.
So
no, I think it's a great concept. Like I said, I mean, you get 10 guys in a room, or 10, sports fans, girls, guys, and all of a sudden they're going back and forth. And now you implement this, you're at it, part of me at a bar, and everyone's like, I can't believe he's about to do it. Well, let me check, boom, boom, boom. And you're going back and forth with everyone. Before I let you get out of here, what was the promo that you were trying to push out tonight? Or you just said that, tonight, an opportunity with Thursday Night Football.
Yeah. I mean, if we get enough users to participate tonight and download the app and play, then we'll give away up to $1,000. And so that'll actually be divided up between 5 of the top players.
That's not bad.
But when we release and when we go live, that'll be significantly more, right? Like one of the biggest things that we do is with influencers.
Yep.
And people that have an audience, even like yourself, you guys actually create and control a league. And then all of your listeners, all of your followers, they come and compete with you, with one another. And you actually make more by creating that league than we do. And so it's this big motivator for people to be able to expand that market. But so right now, while it's still in a trial base, we're just doing we'll give away up to $1,000 if you guys want to come and try it out, and let people know that it's legit. That's the hard part too.
Of course.
As you put this out on social media, everybody's response is scam.
Yeah.
and they all think it's bull. And,
Yeah.
and of course, you would take it like that. You'd be like, this isn't even released in the App Store yet. So if you want to come in and you want to test it out on Test Flight, man, we'd love to have you. And you'll have a blast. You'll love it, I swear.
No, it looks great. I already downloaded, and I've been doing the research on it as well. That's blue42gaming.com. I appreciate you joining us for a couple moments. Let's get you back on, keep us updated on the progress. Is this now, last question, is this just as it stands right now for the NFL? Are you looking to branch out MLB, NBA, NHL, or right now it's just, I mean, that's got to be tough because a game like the NBA is so fanatical and fast paced. We're talking buckets. Maybe
Correct.
with MLB, maybe something a little different. Is he going to pull the pitcher? Is he going to make a pitching change?
Exactly right. So there's a lot where it will play. Like the MLB you can kind of do that more because there's this gap in time. The NFL was kind of perfect with that. By the way, we already have rights to NCAA, but
Nice.
But we were going to release with all of that, but the development has just been so much heavier than we anticipated that it's the NCAA will come next year. We're just going to release with the NFL. But we also have like the PGA. The PGA has already like approached us, been like, man, this could be really cool for what we're doing. And so we've already like gone down that road a little bit as well. So there's other things coming, but for sure the two biggest will remain football, and it'll be the NCAA that's added to the NFL.
Maybe the great scene in Caddyshack was foreshadowing when Rodney Dangerfield said, 50 says just slice it into the woods.
Exactly. And that's already happening all around the world, right?
There is absolutely no betting in Bushwood. I appreciate it greatly. That's awesome insight. We'll definitely promote and push, and appreciate you joining me for a couple moments, my friend. Thank you. Best of luck.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Anytime. That's some fascinating stuff. I would push this in a heartbeat. Now, the only thing, the listeners, let's be honest, some of our listeners, Angel, not on the up and up, man. I think there would be some, we'd have to make sure that we did this the right way, because we can already tell from the comments coming in, we'd have to really keep our listeners on par.
Yeah.
Straight and narrow.
The engagement, and again, as is mentioned, I don't even think you'd have to be good enough to know the line, meaning that, you can download the app, you'll be able to play. Yeah. Physically, you probably didn't, because a lot of guys, let's face it, even when they gamble, sometimes it's just sheer luck. But when you have something like this, it's fast paced and you can see exactly what you're doing. I mean, this is going to be very, very intriguing.
These guys are doing nuts. I'm telling you, our listeners, some of them would bet on cockroaches in the parking lot.
They probably would.
I know. 525, we're powered by our good friends over at Fresh Roasted Coffee. Check out the show notes, BYP20, for our new episode of Back Your Plate tomorrow. You'll drop 20% on your first purchase. Use the promo code BYP20 and the affiliate link. Also, Zen Auto Concepts, the #1 detailing shop in all of Florida. Quick time out. We'll come back on the other side.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class, let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him in the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Awesome. Where were you, Jill?
Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Call or text the show
at 727-858-6650.
Now, back to Q.
All right, 5:30-ish on a Thursday edition of The Drive with Q on the 19th of December, 2024. Rich Quinones here. Angel Martinez behind the glass producing the show. I'm afraid to go to our text message board in the comments, 727-858-6650. By the way, Joe D in Philly, who's a big-time degenerate gambler, loved the spot with Aaron, and he messaged me on the side, and he goes, I don't know how to download. I just still walk up to the window. We'll have to get him assimilated, and we'll try to help him out.
Oh, boy.
Well. All right, what are the people? I mean, I see the nonsense already going on. 727-858-6650.
Hold on. Might not have been it.
Gas pump guy. He's not going to let it go. He's like Ryan Clark and Aaron Rodgers.
Hold on. No. Wrong one. This one. Yeah.
What's up, my man Q? Ready for a great 60? Careful, Q. You might get Angel to chime in there on his Angels. What's 60? What do you got? Temperature wise?
No, the 60 minutes of,
Oh. I appreciate that. I mean, sometimes I get thrown off with the curveball. Yeah, 60 plus minutes, which might change. 727-858-6650. 60 minutes. Come on, Q. Yeah. Oh, the man. I feel like this guy's about to give. Let me tell you. I will say this, all jokes aside, if you partner up with the NFL, you have to understand being allowed to grab data that the NFL is providing.
Yeah.
And you can disseminate that. To do that, you really you are vetted big time.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah.
You're getting scrubbed with everything. I mean, every possible, especially you're talking about finances with the NFL, that you talk about the NFL police, that is big time. That's not small potatoes. That's not, I'm thinking about, that's, who's our guy there, our former MLBer, pitcher, Kurt Schilling. That's not one of those you start a gaming app and all of a sudden, psst.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. 727-858-6650. I mean, the comments, what are we doing? Is it happy hour? God, rip them off. I will take them. I will take them as they typically come. Rena chiming in. You can do a lot more at the 25, including I need to be launched. All right, this is where we're going. I mean, the kids are in the car listening. Whoa. Man gets a little aggravated when the messages are not flowing. I noticed Trevor does the same thing. He complains a lot about his pecking order. That's why when I got side message, a lot of people felt you were, let's be honest, you were playing favorites. They feel you give Madman a lot. Hold on. Where is the breaking news? It better be you and Angel are switching screens because he is broadcasting with the A team in the background. Oh, he went there. A team, B team, C team. We don't know. 727-858-6650. No, that's a pretty unique app. Definitely check it out. Go online. There's already a lot of foot traffic to it, which is really cool. I think too, it's bar talk. You're sitting around with your friends and we do this on the show. We do this watching the games. Why the hell did the coach call us? Why did Sirianni do this? Why did Dan Campbell do this? Why did Dayball not do this? This is, I mean, wait, the man wants to know. Side topic. This is great. Angel, I've been trying to figure out where in Philly the accent is from. Frankfurt and the Boulevard Roxborough.
No, not Frankfurt and the Boulevard, although originally.
Wait, hold on a second. I'm guessing a touch of Delco.
I was out there for a little bit, but mostly South Philly.
But okay, but where? Like
4th and Snyder.
Oh, you got the Snyder accent.
See. Did throw that in for a mix.
It just quickly goes off the rails. I don't understand. It just quickly.
Now it's where it's the back and forth. You have Rena saying what, and then you have X-Men Man who explains what's going on here.
Oh my goodness. Producer's name is Angel. He has a Philly accent. I'm trying to figure out the location of the origin to the accent. Let him go back and forth. Thursday, I don't have time. Let him go back and forth. Trevor, the Bunker Boy is upset though, because he did make a comment the other day that he felt his comments were scrubbed, meaning you did not push his comments out in a timely fashion as fast as he wanted you to. Now, I think that's BS. I do. I think that's BS. I think you do a wonderful job where you're at, Incredible Shrinking Hermano. You try to wear a man of many hats. You put on the Eye on TV voice. Let's be honest, it freaks out our listeners. Established that. We might have to be powered. Eye on TV, we love you, but we might have to switch it up with the vocals on that because we know it freaks out some of the listeners driving around or downloading the app. You're pushing all the right buttons. You're chiming in. You're booking. You're producing. You got Studio B on fire. And then you got to deal with the commenters. You got to see, like Trevor. That's what I'm saying. Like Trevor basically facts Q. I don't know. Is there something is it a side issue going on with how some of the commenters come in? Do you pick and choose who you like to push out there in comment land?
No, but listen. I believe also in loyalty. Ex-Madman has been good from the very beginning. Then you had Trevor, who's come in as well. Now you have Rena. Rena's brand new, self-employed. But no, it's just listen.
Oh my God, I can't with you guys today.
It's just like X-Man, either it starts with a joke or it ends with a joke. Guaranteed, there's a joke in between there.
Of course, there's
always.
There's no.
It's just it's fun to pick. To bring up the different comments because there's always one that's in there. Same way like X-Man. See, there you go. Thank you, Angel. You're welcome.
I'm just saying, I think, there's got to be, I think we have to do a better job at screening. 727-858-6650. By the way, Kevin C. in North Jersey chime in about the Jets debacle. Q, you hit the nail right on the head. How in the world can you have an owner go into a locker room and scream at a player and say you effing suck? And then the Jets leak it out. Imagine Jeffrey Lurie. By the way, I have to ask you as an Eagles fan, this whole, reporting by Glazer that the players, well, let me backtrack.
Okay.
And I hate going this route because it's the whole body language conversation.
Right.
Do you feel Jalen Hurts, this is all, as you say, speculation. Do you feel Jalen Hurts has fun playing the game of football?
Yeah.
You do?
Yep.
Why does it seem as though he doesn't?
Because his thing is always, he has this persona that he always has to look serious all the time. And when he answers, it's the same way it's serious. When he walks into the room, before he sits down, you start asking him a question, he'll turn around and tell you, can I sit down first? Can we establish that? And then we can get going. So he's trying to be kind of the Belichick of a quarterback. He's trying to put this serious persona out there to put this game face because he didn't have it in college. In college, apparently, they said he was too lax, that he wasn't too serious. Now he gets to the NFL and it's a polar opposite, but he does have fun. The only problem is what he has is always overthinking. He's trying to think of the next play even before the four that are already set up for him to take off to already happen. So that's my big takeaway when it comes to Jalen Hurts. But I do believe he has a lot of fun doing so. If he didn't, I mean, I'm pretty sure it'd be the opposite way, but nah. And all this stuff about it, I don't think that he's he's this way, he's that way. You know, he's controversial. There's nothing controversial about him. He's as plain Jane as you could possibly get.
Listen, those are excellent points. I think the narrative is because he looks so serious, we think he's not having fun, but he's getting the job done and they are winning. I just don't understand this side reporting that, you got to get along to go along. Like, I have to go to your house. Who was the player years ago? Won the championship with Toronto, hit the shot that bounced around. Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
Remember when he was with the Spurs and they were like, we had to send pizzas to your house, like to get him out of the house, like to just connect with the ownership and Popovich and his teammates. A 12-2 team that's won 9-10 in a row. Why are we still having these conversations?
They shouldn't be having these conversations, but that's a problem. You got to. There's always some sort of stirring controversy. Just like Dan Campbell said to one of the reporters, asked him a question. Do you guys feel like you've been kicked? And he said, yeah, it's nice to have a gut punch every once in a while, but I can guarantee you this much: we're not going to make another 11-1 run this season, are we? And the reporter laughed because he was just saying, listen, we, of course, don't get us wrong. We love that we were eating filet mignon every single week. But you guys knocked us back to, to the regular burger. And we got a taste of what a regular burger is like, and we got to get back to being fillets. So, I mean, he made a good analogy by it in the same way, like when the whole RC and Aaron debacle, where I think RC's debate, what he said to come back on Aaron Rodgers, I thought it was friggin' much better than what Aaron Rodgers said. But
I also think something like that, if you're going to go, see, the difference is with the side reporting and the inside sources. Mm-hmm. Everyone has inside sources, right? So I can sit there and say, Angel, I spoke to someone who spoke to someone. I think a lot of it, like these, on X or Facebook, whatever, you can take it serious. There's no merit. If I'm tweeting something, let's be honest, no one's going to take it serious. They're going to be like, Q's full of shit. He didn't speak to a player. So I look and I read things and I'm like, oh, this guy, spoke to the gardener, to the trash man who knows Jeff Lurie and Nick Sirianni's in trouble. There's no merit to it, but people want to push it, take it, run with it, and push their own narrative. Something like Brandon Graham being a 13, 14, 15-year pro, one of the leaders of the franchise, after he puts his foot in his mouth and he backtracks and he has to walk it back. And now these reports are coming out that he had to go to Jalen Hurts' house, to convince him to, buddy up with the team. And then he basically disputes that. My point is, you said last year, to paraphrase and almost try to quote word for word, something's off with Jalen Hurts. And you harped on the fact that Jalen Hurts never got on the plane going to Seattle. Do you recall those conversations?
Sure do.
Okay. So I feel as though now, have you done a 180 on Jalen Hurts? Like, he is so serious. He's all business, but he's getting the job done. And I guess I'm shocked we're still talking about this non-drama with the Eagles. That's all. So have you done a 180 on Jalen Hurts now? I ask you.
It's not even as much as a 180, I think, because his whole thing was last year there was a lot going on with him. And I think as much as he tried to adjust and try to figure out what was working, what wasn't working, at that point, he was really tripping over his own self. And then the pisser became the losing streak that followed. And once he didn't want to get on the plane, it's because he was getting the backlash of all the players and him being so serious. Instead of just kind of loosening up a little bit, he decided to take all that aggression out to the gridiron. And when he did that, it failed and collapsed. So this year he learned what he did the first year was to come in, still be serious, but unwind a little bit and just figure out, okay, what's not working, what is working. Now let me finally go back to the film room. But at the same time too, you got to be there. If you're the captain and you're the quarterback, you should be there at O-Dark 30. And when you leave,
plus the money that he's making, he's the franchise quarterback. He makes the most money.
Right. But you're not there at O-Dark 30 and you're not leaving O-Dark 30. And that's something he's going to have to learn. If he wants to stay in this league for a long time, he's going to have to learn that. Don't forget also, Jason Kelsey called him out. He said, you got to learn how to read the lines. And that's been a big issue with Jalen. It was a huge issue in college. But mind you, in college, you got a short span. In the NFL, you want to be in there long. You got to learn how to read that line as a QB. If you don't learn it, and Jason Kelsey was trying to teach you, and basically on the way out the door, he was saying, oh, by the way, all right, bro, the line is yours. You can't read it. There's a problem.
Yeah. I got to get in this. Mike C. and Trent chiming in. Q, you're talking about Ryan Clark, and you're talking about Aaron Rodgers living rent-free in Ryan Clark's head. The hypocrisy is ridiculous. You've been a hypocrite for the last 20 years on the air. Whoa. I mean, where did that come from?
I don't know.
Out of nowhere?
Apparently, that's your Christmas gift before Christmas.
No, I think I got it yesterday with some of the commenters. We know one thing, scrap the NBA talk for 2025.
Good Lord, yeah. Just, that was never ending. Those are the ones that every once in a while I need to pull one out, a really good one, and put it in the wall right here. Which was funny because
as soon as we got off the air, I flipped on, not to spite the listeners, but I flipped on NBA TV. And they talked about, and here we go. I guarantee I'm going to get the comments once I talk about this. The 95, 96. They talked about the 96 NBA draft. And I just want to be accurate with this.
Okay.
It was fascinating.
How fascinating was it?
Thank you for asking. I'm going to tell you why it was so fascinating. Because the first 7 picks in the NBA draft, they were all underclassmen. And the whole rub was for other players like a Stojakovic, a Kittles, a O'Neal, a Wallace, guys that were playing 4 years, they saw that their stock was going down. That draft class was ridiculous. Allen Iverson, Marcus Camby, Sharif Abdul-Rahim, Stephon Starbury, Ray Allen, Antoine Walker, Kerry Kittles, Kobe Bryant. And I was thinking, I was like, man, this will be good conversation for the show. But then I realized it's full swing NFL season, college football, playoff, college hoops, 727-858-6650. And that's what happens. All these younger players came out right out of high school. Yes.
It's going to have to happen. And we're going to have to save those kind of shows for the audio only show. Then there's no comment to come in.
Yeah. But that is ridiculous. And how Vlade Divac did not want to get traded. And then finally the Lakers were able to trade him. I mean, Kobe Bryant's coming out of Lower Merion High School, for Christ's sake. That draft was Walter McCarty, Roy Rogers. No, not the Cowboy, the restaurant. He played at Alabama. It was ridiculous. It was utterly ridiculous. And that was also the changing of the guard. And we started to also see the emergence of the super team. Because if you go back and you look at those free agents in 1996 in the NBA, you're talking sought after. I mean, it was just absolutely absurd. Wall-to-wall Hall of Famers. Unbelievable. 727-858-6650. Joey B, seriously, what all I'm doing is giving the listeners who appreciate my useless knowledge. You come here to be entertained and to learn a little something and to have some laughs. So I will revert to the 70s. I will revert to the 80s, to the 90s. And I'll revert to the 2000s. But I always come full circle. Do I not, Angel Martinez, and bring it back to 2024?
Sure do.
I do. You cannot please everyone. By the way, so here's the announcement that you guys are getting me on. It's a two-prong announcement.
Oh boy.
It's a two-prong announcement. So Angel and I have talked about expanding the show. Here we go. Expanding the show and running the gamut Monday to Friday. And we're thinking about going the 4 to 6 route. And we're going to keep it with the video, if not the video or the audio. So that's what we're contemplating, because we're adding programming. And it has to make sense, logistically. Incredible Shrinking Hermano, he stretches out a 20-hour day. So we're going to come up with something where no matter what, we'll hit the 4 to 6, 3 days, and we'll figure out what we'll do on the Tuesdays and Thursdays if it's going to be audio and video. Now, the second, can I tease this? Is that okay with you?
Sure.
Okay. So the second is that since Angel has created the network, and Angel and I have been working hand in hand for well over a year plus now with the content and Back Your Play. And then we had the middays, and then we changed it, and we brought on a couple other shows, if you will. You'll see sometimes we get our guy, Gabriel, who chimes in. He is the owner, CEO of Critical Sports and Entertainment. So along with Gabriel, along with myself, and now Angel has graciously turned around and made myself and Gabriel minority partners, owners of Sports Radio 102.9 FM The Game. So it's, now we will work hand in hand a lot more closely, which is great because it allows him to do what he does best. It allows me to do what I do best and still continue to be creative. But we're going to be adding a shit ton of programming. And let me just say this. We joke all the time on the air, and we have fun, and we go back and forth and this and that. And I'm telling you, because you guys, again, no, you can't get stopped. I mean, again, we're trying to be genuine here, and there's always one in the room. You might be able to get stock. I don't know. Again, we don't know. We don't know yet. But what the vision that, and Nate, we appreciate you, brother. The vision that we're looking at, we're going to do a little more live programming. We're going to add some different elements that are behind the scenes, a little more out and about down the road. But listen, I'm happy. It's an honor. It's extremely humbling to say that you have a
Jesus.
I can't even get my moment in. You got a little skin in the game, so to speak. No. We're not. See that address right there. Hold on a second. Do I have to Google that?
Yep.
All right, hold on a second.
I know what it is.
Is that a highly populated lot lizard area? Wait, hold on. Why do I know that address? Is that cheerleaders? Oh, this is why you're not getting any type of equity or stock. But be that as it may, Angel has done a fantastic job all by himself, creating the network, the platform, the app, the website, the content. We break balls back and forth, but you guys have no idea how much time and energy and heart and passion he puts into, the site, the network, and the rebranding. And it's great because we are getting networks down in Florida, and they're listening in. They're seeing what we're doing. They're listening in. We got a nice feel from what's going on with Philly, New York, Florida, up and down the East Coast. So for me to have a little skin in the game is fantastic. I'm excited. And more importantly, to expand. I know some guys were chiming in. They're like, yo, you got to go 3 to 6, Monday to Friday. And I said, listen, I mean, look how small he's getting. The kid's not even eating. I mean, if I start going 3 to 6,
yeah,
and what's going to happen? I mean, this guy's just going to be ahead, right?
Pretty much.
And if you notice what I've been doing, I've been feeding her. I told you earlier,
right?
Getting her up earlier, feeding her earlier. And guess what she's doing right now?
Looking.
Oh, out like a light.
Oh, wow.
Probably counting rabbits.
No, it's been, listen, I'm grateful as well. For those who don't know, Rich is absolutely right. It's a lot of work. It's been a lot of work since day one. And one thing I always try to do is stay a leg up in front of the competition. And doing that takes a lot of research. And it's long days, where to the point where my wife, my beautiful digital producer, tells me there's times where I have to
say your wife.
Yeah.
My beautiful digital producer. BDP. There you go.
Exactly. But no, there's times where she tells me to go to sleep because it never stops. The work never stops. I mean, tomorrow, for example, I'll be out there at the Cure Bowl, and I'm pretty sure I'll run into some other folks out there and stuff. And probably the ReliaQuest Bowl here coming up soon on New Year's Eve, possibly the Pop-Tarts Bowl. So there's
hold on.
What?
Hold on. There's a Pop-Tart Bowl?
Yeah.
Oh, what was the trophy? A toaster?
It was a toaster, but then the Pop-Tart went in. If you remember correctly, last year, it was the first time they actually put it in the toaster, and then they came out to whatever flavor they had picked. And then this year, the winning team actually gets to pick the new flavor that's going to be out in the store shelves.
So let me ask you a question. Let's say in some capacity of your life,
Yeah.
there was a smoking and joking phase. I'm not asking you to disclose any of that information. You're a military man. You serve this country. You allow me to sleep in a blanket for freedom, growing my hair in college, smoking and joking, playing soccer, dicking around the radio station while you're out there fighting the good fight. So I commend you for that. But I'm asking you, if there was ever a smoking and joking phase, and I know Joey B loves when I say those phrases, smoking and joking. Do you go Pop-Tart or do you go Legos Blueberry Waffles?
Oh, both. See, that's a good selection. Bad for you, but good selection. Oh,
What do we do? And are you going Pop-Tart in the toaster? Just enough where you, and hold on,
Oh,
are
boy.
you going the Pop-Tart with the white icing and the little sprinkles?
yeah, you have to. You have to, especially if you're putting it in the toaster. You have to.
Over the blueberry waffle?
Yeah,
The
I would have
Legos.
to say yes.
Legos or Egos?
Hey, goes. Same
Really?
difference. Yeah.
I'm going waffles.
See, but
Toast them up, crisp them up, little butter on it.
yeah, but the thing is though, you got to figure like when it's warmed up, it's different because you can split it in half. You know, slight little smell. Like it's just. I love waffles. Don't get me wrong, but a good Pop-Tart on a day like even when you're not expecting to have one, you just
No. On a day where you, hold on.
okay.
The caveat is on a day you are smoking and joking.
Dang it.
If you're
Yeah,
smoking and
sure.
joking
Yeah,
and you have a need for a snacky poo at that moment, are you
That's Pop-Tart.
going again?
Pop-Tart.
Egos or Pop-Tart?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Pop-Tart. Two things. Joey B, thank you. Joey, just to kind of inform you guys as well. Joey B has been around the last 4 years, and Joey B came on and has been on loyally from the time that I had Tony and Robin on for the very first time. That was way before episode 100, and then Tony and Robin came back on episode 100. Joey B chimed in on there because he was a loyal listener to Tony, but ended up coming over and has been hanging around ever since. And I appreciate it. Even the one time when he surprised all of us with a phone call. Then the second time was with Rich when he ended up calling in about his Giants. But, you know, so like Joey B, that's what I mean. With him, guys like Ex-Madman, and yes, listen, she has a huge sense of humor. So don't worry. That means absolutely she's got a huge sense of humor. But no, it's, you know, it is a ton of work. I'm grateful for both because with Rich, you know, I've had a lot of fun the last year, and there's a lot of crap that goes on behind the scenes. There's times, and it's funny because if you guys ever listen into the conversation, sometimes they'll call me up before you roll your eyes. I know you're rolling your eyes, and it's just because it's a constant work process. So it is a lot of work, but 24 has surpassed of what the goals that I had, and every year I aim for a new goal. And 25, I hope that the goals that I already have set in my head that exceed it at least by, I would say by the summer. But thanks to you guys, for everybody who downloads the app, come back to watch us. Again, there's no fees up there. You guys don't see where you have to pay for anything. I try to make everything easy as possible. So you guys, the only thing we ask is ever just download the apps because it helps. I mean, I don't earn a dime from it, which is the honest God's truth. And even if they were in the App Store, which they're not currently, but even if they are, I don't earn a dime from it.
Yeah. You know, we might have to start charging the ball breaking. I'm looking at the comments right now. 727-858-6650. It's ridiculous. Joey likes to take these shots, but you would think with Joey B, that's a 90s music character, isn't it? Right?
Yep. That is true. They are at the dollar store.
No. Lego or Eggo? It's Eggo waffles.
Eggo waffles.
Yeah. Eggo waffles.
Unless that dollar store.
You know, I did do a faux pas once when I was doing radio in Delaware because I lived in Voorhees. By the way, right near the Stratford Diner. Where? Hold on. Where? The Stratford Diner where they tell you what, Angel?
To top you off on?
Yes. So it was like an hour and friggin' 45-minute commute. And I was getting paid dick. Like, honestly, I was on the air for 3+ years, right? So I was getting up at 4 in the morning. I was bar backing. I was getting up at 4 in the morning. I was working at NFL Films. I was leaving my house at 4 to get to Delaware to do the sports on a Saturday and Sunday at 5:30 off of French Street on a news station. From there, I befriended a guy. He was working at the sports talk station. I started hanging around, bugging the hell out of him. This is like 2006, 2005. I'm like, oh, put me on the air, put me on the air, put me on the air. I've done X, Y, and Z. Finally, he's like, shut up already. I'll stick you on the air. So I started showing up. They took me from the news side and they hired me to produce. You know me. I hate that shit. This is what I do. This is what I'm best at. I don't produce the editing. No, it's not me. So after 2 months of me sitting there miserable, having to produce Wilmington Blue Rocks and doing the weather on, here we go. It is 76 degrees on 1290 The Ticket. Back to the game. 7th inning, the Blue Rocks. No, wasn't me. The guy left. You know who he is, by the way, because we were thinking about doing some stuff on the other platform. He left. And I was like, oh, I'll fill in. I'll fill in. They're like, you have 1 week. I filled in and the audience hated me. They're like, you have another week. Filled in for 2 weeks. The audience hated me. Anyway, I was able to kind of reshape them. And I was on the air for about 3+ years. But I made dick money. I'm sorry. We know in radio, you don't make a lot of money. You just do not make a lot of money. So I'm like, all right, got the condo, got the mortgage, got the bills, let me skim a little bit. And I'll never forget. I went to the dollar store and I walked in and the first day I'm like, ooh, pasta. Then I'll never forget. I went to the counter and, I'm the type of asshole that when I go up to the counter, the first thing out of my mouth is this $1? And like the girl's just sitting there like, so not only was I able to, stock up on munchies, but sauce. Let me just check the date. All right. It only expired a couple weeks ago. So I went to the dollar store and I made a wonderful pasta cuisine. I would say about 11:30 at night. And I had a long streak of not throwing up. I would say 11:30 at night. It was horrible. Point being, I learned my lesson from buying food at the dollar store. Oh, man. But if I had the choice, and some guys are asking, the smoking and joking is, again, if you were in college and, little, what I'm thinking of. And I know the guys are going to get this. You know exactly where I'm going with this. What was, the movie, Analyze This.
Yeah.
Little papa, and once in a while it was Miss Phyllis Levine, just once. So smoking and joking is if you guys ever engage in that kind of stuff. I'm not saying Angel did, nor am I saying I did. All I'm saying is that's where the phrase came up. Smoking and joking. What does Joey B says? 2 songs of 2005.
Yeah, the top songs.
Yeah. Let Me Love You by Mario.
Okay.
Since You've Been Gone, Kelly Clark.
Is that 2005?
1-2 Step? Wow. That's almost 20 years, Sierra? Missed
Wait,
out.
but is it
Gold Digger was a great song. Now, Gold Digger, let me tell you something. When we were ripping it A team, B team, C team, and Star was about to come on the stage, that's the song that they wanted that we had to rip as we were DJing.
Yeah. Okay, so Madman.
Wait, can we go back to
Which
one
one?
of the comments? Hold on. Hold on a second. Go to the one. Madman says, "Oh no, please tell Mitch Angel, don't read these."
Yeah, that's when I that's why I said it. She has a good sense of humor. No.
Oh my God. You guys make me laugh. Does anyone care? Can I get my thoughts on this weekend or Thursday night football
Sure.
before we get out of here in a couple minutes? Yeah, Thursday night football tonight. The Broncos and the Chargers. All right, let me get your thoughts. Washington, the Eagles, that's the big game. The Giants, Falcons, it's a shitty game, but the Falcons are going to go to Penix. You got a couple other big games this weekend, right? Vikings in Seattle. Your Tampa Bay Bucks against the Dallas Cowboys. The games stink this weekend.
Yeah, Bucks are winning that one.
You like the Eagles on the road?
Yep. I also like Denver on the road tonight.
Denver's playing really well. Bo Nix looks like a stud. Sean Payton should be the coach of the year.
Yep, should be.
They're playing really well. The Chargers kind of spit the bit. Texans and the Chiefs looks like they're going to go back to Mahomes. He should be okay. I don't want to comment about the Steelers. I don't want to upset Vince. I think the Steelers are going to get absolutely lambasted. I think the Steelers are a fraud. How about that?
Yeah, I'm not going to steal with the Steelers out. That's all Ravens.
Yeah, I like the Ravens in that game. Listen, the Ravens are a good team. Now, here's the weekend where if Lamar goes off, you guys are going to come on Monday and say, "Oh, Q, guess what? Lamar should be in the MVP conversation." I just know it. The Jets are a 3-point home dog to the Rams. Eagles are laying 3.5. Pardon me. I think that game, that's a huge game for you Birds fans, you little Eagles fans, the Bunker Boys, i.e. If Washington can run the football, if they can stop the run, and if you turn around and you get a couple of picks from Jalen Hurts, I think Washington has a really good chance to win that game. I really do. I think now Jaden Daniels he's a stud, man. He's a special player. It's just if the Eagles don't come out and try to run the ball early, shame on them. Yeah. They need to run Saquon 20, 25 plus times, get him his 26, 27 touches. Cardinals and the Panthers, Vikings in Seattle. Maybe this is the game the Vikings slip up and Darnold kind of reverts back to the player he's been in the past. But they're 12-2. They're 5-1 on the road. They're laying that visitors 3. The Bills are laying 14. You asked me the other day if the Bills lose this game and Josh Allen plays poorly, does it hurt him in the MVP conversation? I don't believe it does. Now, I will ask you, if Saquon Barkley rushes for $165 and the Eagles win by 20, does Saquon Barkley's odds go up?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So you want to know right now? So this is from the Sporting News. Josh Allen named MVP by NFL executives in a landslide. He received 22 of 27 votes. And again, he's got 14 total scores, 0 touchdowns. And, you know, the old adage, women weaken legs. Not the case for Josh Allen since he's been engaged. And lights. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, it's true.
He's been, he's been lights out. So updated MVP odds. Here we go. Update it. Right now, Josh Allen is the prohibited favor. Wow. He's at minus. When the hell was this updated? Oh, minus 900.
Yep.
Saquon's plus 1,300 for GPG. Go ahead. Back your play on that one. Baker's plus 7,500. Lamar is plus 550. Jared Goff is plus 2,000. Mahomes, no. Daniels, no. Wow. So you look at this and you really say it's 3 players, even though Allen's running away with it. That's the way I look at it. I'm telling you, he's going to be the MVP. He's the best player in football right now. Joey B says, Chargers, Broncos tonight. I actually took the Chargers to win. low scoring game. Broncos defense hasn't been all that good, strong the past few games. The issue with the Chargers, they're very inconsistent. We thought they got rid of this problem with Harbaugh. No. They had the 5-game winning streak. They lost a bad game to Baltimore. They rebounded. They beat a bad Falcons team. They made mistakes late against Kansas City, and then they got blown out by Tampa Bay. I don't like the Chargers in this spot at all. What's the total in this game? 42.5. I'll tell you, if the Broncos go on the road with a rookie quarterback and they win that game, the Broncos this year on the road, they lost to Seattle. They beat the Jets. They beat the Saints. They got crushed by the Ravens, and they lost by 2 to Kansas City. It kind of tells you something if they go on the road tonight and they win in a tough spot. I think they're going to make the playoffs. They're second in the AFC West right now. That's a great story. Sean Payton. And it's a good story with Harbaugh. You got 2 young quarterbacks you're trying to build upon. And, Mahomes is back for Kansas City. So I know everyone was like, oh, here we go. High ankle sprain. Lions sitting at 3.5. And especially for Joey, it tells you how bad our Giants are. They were 10-point dogs with Kirk Cousins starting. Maybe the highest point was 11, and now they're 9-point dogs. It tells you that they don't care who's quarterbacking Atlanta. Penix or Kirk Cousins, right?
Yep.
Greg in Ocean chimes in. Q, as a diehard Jet fan, I can't take this Aaron Rodgers mess. Do you think the team just goes in a different direction? Who do you see as their next head coach? Enjoying the show, laughing my ass off. Appreciate that. Pardon me. I have no idea. There was a report that Belichick put in a call to the Jets and Woody Johnson. And, the Jets really didn't vet. They didn't want to do their due diligence. The name Mike Vrabel is being floated out there. They need a GM. And Aaron Rodgers, do you want to bring him back?
No.
If Aaron Rodgers doesn't go back to the Jets next year, if the Jets don't want Aaron Rodgers back, what team do you see Aaron Rodgers playing for?
The Browns?
And you still got Watson in that contract.
Yeah.
They bench Winston. That's a whole other mess. All that money they paid Deshaun Watson, injury aside, he's done. I don't think he takes another NFL snap. The Browns, no. Here's a thought. You ready to really laugh?
Sure.
Sarcasm. My God. No.
Well, because the X-Men.
You know what? Just leave his comments alone. I'll give you a team that if Aaron Rodgers decides he wants to come back and play for 2 more years, and a team wants to bring him in because they're not sold on a young quarterback.
Patriots?
No. Team basically he's dominated his entire career. The Bears.
No way. No way. Nah. I wouldn't see that happening.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, you also probably said Brett Favre's never going to go to Minnesota.
No, I thought he was going to be done. Period. I thought that was it. I mean, that Minnesota move was just stupid. Period.
They went to an NFC Championship game.
Yeah, well, it was still stupid. Did they win it?
No.
Okay.
No.
Maniacs.
What? Very snide commentary from you tonight. Just short.
They're not going to give up, Dylan. That's for sure on Caleb Williams. But no,
I'm not saying they are. He takes a lot of hits, and you want to be talked about. You want to be talked about when you're a franchise, and the Jets are being talked about because of Aaron Rodgers. Love, hate, loathe, it doesn't matter. All I'm saying is, I don't want to hear the Giants because no, not happening. He's owned the Bears. Aaron Rodgers is such a child. Any chance he has to stick it to the Packers, he would do it. I know, it's crazy. It's beyond. Did anyone think Brady was going to retire and then go sign with Tampa Bay and win a Super Bowl in his first season and do it in Tampa Bay? I mean, anyone think Emmitt Smith is going to be an Arizona Cardinal? I mean, stranger things have happened. Donovan McNabb going to Washington, which I predicted on a Fox Sports affiliate in Florida. I'll find the audio for it. Thank you very much. But stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, but I don't see it because that means that the Bears are really taking another major step back.
But they already are because their quarterback is regressing. He's taking a lot of hits. Nobody likes the kid's body language. They're looking at this theatrics, and he's like, trying to win an Oscar. It's like Sonny at the friggin' toll booth. James Caan gets riddled with bullets. You know he's done. He's dead. Williams gets hit, and all of a sudden you think he's Sonny at the toll booth.
Well, take a look. I mean, you had Eberflus. Was there not a worse bad actor than Eberflus?
He was a bad head coach, and that is a bad ownership group, and that is a bad GM, but it still is the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I just don't see it. If that's the case, why don't you just call freaking Sanchez? Or you don't Trubisky and bring him back to freaking to the Bears.
Did we get a Mark Sanchez reference?
Yeah.
Wow. He was rocking the man bun, and I think they made him cut it.
That was ridiculous. And not only they should have made him cut it because Debbie and I
do you think they made him cut it? I'm asking you.
Yeah, because it looked, first of all, it looked disheveled, it looked dirty, and it looked ridiculous. As a broadcaster, you should know better. You don't do that. I don't care.
COVID, I was able to put my hair in a ponytail.
Well, Jesus. Yeah, right?
Well, I have the locks. Like I have to accept. No, they accentuate my face. The locks.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying is
the money shot right here, man. You go to the you go to a barber shop. You don't go to a salon. Don't insult me. And you ask for the Larry Fine. Do you not?
Not exactly Larry Fine, but yes.
I go to a salon.
Okay.
Because of the curls. So I appreciate Mark Sanchez when he was trying to grow it out and go the man bun route.
No, it looked ridiculous. That's like showing up for a broadcast with a tuxedo suit and suit pants.
Did it look I have to go back at the comments. Did it look Delco-ish?
No, further past Delco. Further freaking past Delco.
Did it look
Coatesville-ish? Yeah, Coatesville-ish. For sure.
Fishkinish?
Okay. Coachville-ish.
Coachville-ish? You never grew your hair long?
No, are you kidding me? Never.
Wow. Yeah, I had some long locks, man.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Smoking and joking phase. Oh, see? I forgot we are, we have to air the show the way,
yes.
The commenters went to show. Maybe we'll do all NBA on Monday. Forget about week 16. Forget about the playoffs. College football playoffs. Have to for a moment or two, and then we'll get out of here. Have to touch on that because I know everyone was just beside themselves with how, the college football playoff and here we go and CFP and everyone was making a mockery. Listen, are you surprised a team like Alabama doesn't get in? I'm really not.
No.
SMU I'm okay with. Penn State's going to be interesting because James Franklin never wins a friggin' big game.
Yep.
Clemson, Texas, I'm fine with that. Ohio State, 2 losses. Okay. Tennessee, 2 losses. Boise State, 1 loss. I'm not, again, I think right now the best team in college. Georgia still has a very good defense, even though I have 2 losses, but it's Oregon. I don't see anyone beating them. I really don't. They score a ridiculous amount of points. They'll score 35-40. Love to see them matched up against Georgia, but everyone was making such a hoo-ha-ha. College football, this, that, the other thing, and not happening. Is this true, Angel? Were you rocking the mullet?
If you believe anything that comes out of Dylan's mouth, that should be a shame.
I didn't do the grunge look. I never liked that kind of music. No, I would rock the flannel though, and my Knicks hat. The flannel, the Knicks hat, and you'll walk in with a little MGD, or if you were feeling a little spicy that night, little 12 Azima.
Oh, Jesus.
or a little Mad Dog 2020. Paper bag it. I said paper bag.
So no one can tell, even though it's shaped like the bottle.
Hey, You always got to be safe, Angel. 858-665. All right. You will be covering bowl games tomorrow.
Yes.
So we will be back on the air. Now, I'll do a recorded BYP with Lloyd. I would do that. Does the Ivy League expand now that they are FBS guarantee for champion Notre Dame? That's a really good question. I don't know that, Trevor. That's actually a very good question. I mean, you just allow him. You allow him way too much freedom with the comments. I mean, that's just. I mean, it went so fast. Paper bags don't work with the C team. They just 727-858-66.
I told you, it's either the beginning or the end, 1 of the 2, guaranteed every time.
I mean, listen, this is what happens, and they stay with us, and that's all we can say, and we appreciate it. All right, so we will we will be back tomorrow. I'll do a recorded BYP, and I'll probably do something on Saturday as well, but we'll be back live on Monday before the holidays. So we'll have Pete 7 to 10, Martinez and company 10 to 12, and then the drive with Q. We might have to go 4 to 6 on Monday because, as we typically have found out, the people, they have spoken. All right, let's get out of here. You guys are just too much for me on a Thursday. All right, as I mentioned, Thursday Night Football tonight. I gave you my play. I do like the Broncos on the road. I do like the Lions to rebound against the Bears. I think I'm not even reading the comments. The Rams on the road. The Eagles will beat the Washington Commanders, but I think it's going to come down to a last drive, and we'll see if Hurts can engineer it. And then the last game that I'm looking at, the Vikings laying 3 against Seattle. Go ahead. What is it? All right. Follow us on the YouTube channel, SR1029 FM The Game. Also, my YouTube channel, Rich Q on X platform, Facebook, Kicks, Rumble. I love when people say this is the last comment, and we know it's not the last comment.
Of course not.
So who gets it on a Thursday? Who gets last comment? Here we go. Let's give it to Joey B. Let's be fair. Q with Jakar Noir and a flannel shirt equals A team comes back on the clock. That is 100% accurate. 100% accurate. You know why? Because sometimes, Angel, you can never settle for anything less. All right. Check out my YouTube channel, Angel's YouTube channel. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget, we're powered by our good friends over at Fresh Roasted Coffee. Where, Angel?
Where they top you off, hun?
Yes, we always get topped off. BYP20, that is the promo code. We'll do our picks tomorrow with Lloyd Vance. The prop will join us on Saturday. Download the app. Keep it locked in. Follow us on social media. Also, our good friends at Zen Auto Concepts, Played Against Sports, 1450 Columbus Bridge Road, and Critical Talent and Sports Agency. For mi hermano, Angel Martinez. Hey, enjoy the bowl games. I would much rather have you cover the Pop-Tart Bowl and just take a picture of the toaster.
Well, we'll see. Well, hopefully it'll happen. We'll see. They have today was the final day for the submission, so we'll see. We'll find out come next week.
All right, that's what we want. We want that picture with the toaster. You guys can keep the comments coming in as well. 727-858-6650. For the incredible Shrinking Hermano, Angel Martinez, I am Rich Quinones. Have a good sports Thursday. BYP tomorrow, pre-recorded on the YouTube channel. We'll be back in the saddle on Monday with The Drive with Q. As always, be safe, be sound. Hasta luego, buen día.